Pecha Kucha 244 Saved by Sandman. That's a pretentious and ostentatious title. But what I mean by that is I was a little bit down in the dumps and reading Sandman. I have read all of it again now. It reminded me that telling stories is an excellent thing to do, even if you don't do it excellently. Not that I'm accusing Sandman of that, but sometimes the stories are more important than the characters within them. And these are grown-up stories. This isn't Batman or Cowboy Bebop. I meant to compare it to Cowboy Bebop, actually. It is a lot like Cowboy Bebop, in that the plot is in the background and it's mostly just disconnected stories that are interesting on their own merit. I can imagine there are people in this day and age that would want to cancel it for various reasons, based on the art, based on the topics, based on the maturity. Even though they're going to make a film or a TV show of it, it's excellent. I read it. It's kind of sad, but it's definitely worth it. I'm not changing what I said last week. Go fucking read it. And if you have, read it again. So I tried to use it as inspiration this week to do some stuff, even though I really didn't want to do anything this week. So I tried to just do some kind of gestural mood stuff, working with black, just to kind of build some kind of Sandman type idea of how I would illustrate the main character in my head. Without having to commit to detail, because even the guy who basically created the character wasn't very good at drawing him. Not to be especially rude to Sam Keith, but I usually can't help it. It's not like I have anything against him. It's just everyone else who came after him seemed to have a better idea of what it was they were trying to do and a better grasp of proportion. But I digress. So I spent some of the week trying to figure out how you draw a gaunt man with messy hair with eyes like... what do they say? I don't know. Strange eyes. But I also tried to split my time between the Fist of the North Star manga as well. To see if either one would get traction with me, since I wasn't especially inclined to do anything productive. So I was trying to redraw Ray, finding mixed success, trying to use tools I don't usually use in a way I don't usually use them. And also, because I'd walked away from this for 2 weeks, when I was working on the bottom panel drawing Mamura, I was kind of in a different mindset. I'm like, oh, let me just draw this whole thing really well and like repencil it and like make it 3D and work. But then it's like, that's too much work. I didn't come here for this, so now I'm tapping out. But before I ran out the door, I did, in a kind of a side document, try to get a sense of what Ray is supposed to look like using reference, and trying to get more comfortable with the way Fist of the North Star manga characters, especially the men, how their heads are formed. That was fun. Or funner. I was still pretty much disinclined to do anything one would deem productive. What I was hoping to do was trick myself into doing stuff by creating images without any particular goal or any particular detail, and then just build them up and have something before I could stop myself. I think ultimately what helped was using the chalk brush at the very end of the week, and I kind of just started randomly drawing a scene from Sandman, but not quite as it happened, where the main character and his little sister are basically not doing anything, and she's just gonna like eat a fruit, because that's the idea I had in my head of her just like pulling this fruit into her enormous mouth with this angle and going wah, because it seemed cute and funny, and I didn't give myself enough time to talk myself out of doing it, so that's what I did. And then what I did was I just copied and pasted the starting panel and just slightly edited it to show the younger sister, whose name is what? Can I remember what her name is? Delirium. He is Dream, she is Delirium. So she's having the fruit, she's having a good time, and he's no-selling it because that's what he does, and that's the joke. And then I was just like, well, you know, I'm here, I'm having fun, let's keep going. So I just take my chalk brush, I draw all 7 of the Endless, who are ostensibly the main characters of the entire Sandman story, from memory, without reference, and you can tell that they're not each other. I decided to do another couple of pictures of Desire, because Desire is very androgynous, and androgyny is hard to draw. But since I was using a chalk brush that didn't require me to commit with any strong commitment to any line, I thought, can I get away with it? And I felt, yeah, I did okay. And then Cain and Abel? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Cain and Abel, another two of the characters. I drew them again without reference. It's amazing how little I pick up from something between 50 to 100 comic books I've read in close succession. But, you can tell one of them is not the other again. It's a small victory. But yeah, I produced some stuff. I didn't feel bad about it. I'm feeling a lot better at the end of the week than I did at the start in terms of wanting to be productive, although I'm not making any promises. And let me just talk a little bit about something that happened last week. Very late in the week, I was kind of ambling around the house, and I kind of just drew a picture of the Predator without intending to, and it's really fucking big. It's like bigger than A3. It's massive. I did it with a brush pen and a pencil with no lead in it, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. I was so happy with how it turned out, I wanted to show someone, so I put it on Instagram, and, as what happens when you go on Instagram, it just ruins your fucking day. But the good thing about this picture is I know that I'm proud of it enough that I don't need empty plaudits from people who don't care, so not to be crass. And then at the bottom, I kind of just drew this Predator's head, and then with the ink pen I was just drawing outside of it, and then I ended up with Venom Snake in the corner and some kind of background. But the point was, this is, I think, ultimately why I draw. I love turning a blank canvas into something. Even if everything I do is derivative, it's nice to know that you can leave something behind. Not a legacy so much, but just something you can say, look, I did that. And someone else can go, oh, well, that's not the worst thing I've ever seen. And this isn't. And I really ought to be doing more of that, because it's quite nice sometimes. What am I going to do next week? I don't know. Something. So I'll see you there. That's the end of Pecha Kucha 244.